Good morning.
Good
This
morning.
thing working? Working?
Hello?
Yes, maybe? All right. My name is Irving Padron. I'm the licensed partner and president for Engel Invokers Miami. Engel Invokers Miami is the proud global sponsor and the exclusive real estate partner for Emerge Americas. So we're very excited to bring the real estate related content to Emerge Americas. Congrats to our team for doing a great job. Our booth is right there and things are looking great. The topic of this panel is real estate disruption on a global scale. And what you guys are in for a treat. These are two CEOs of major companies that are really leading the charge in innovation and disruption in the residential real estate industry. So I'm very proud to have you guys welcome. Eric Eckardt.
Correct.
Sorry about that. Thanks for being here. And Anthony Hitt. So
Thanks
Eric is CEO US for Purple Bricks, company we've been following very closely. And Anthony is president and CEO of Engel Invokers for the Americas, for the entire region, North and South America. I'm going to start with Eric, a question here. You've been making some big headlines, big splashes coming over. Tell us about your business and what you guys are up to.
Sure, thanks. First off, it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of our team at Purple Bricks. So Purple Bricks was actually founded in 2014, so we're still a fairly young company, but we're growing exponentially. And what that means is we launched in the UK in 2014, fundamentally changed the real estate landscape in the UK. We went from zero, of course, as a startup, to this year we'll sell over 70,000 homes, and we're the largest real estate player in the United Kingdom. We went public in 2015, we raised capital, and then we scaled into Australia. And within a year, we essentially have national coverage, and we're the third largest real estate firm in Australia. So with our growth, our success, but more importantly, the response from the consumer, we decided to launch in the US last year. We made a public announcement. We raised a separate tranche of capital of over 60 million. That was 5 times oversubscribed by institutional investors. And we finally launched in September of this year in the LA designated market area. It was a marketplace that was very diverse, various price points, over 6.3 million households. But more importantly, we went out and spoke to the consumer, and it really validated the hypothesis that we had that this would be a viable market to launch Purple Bricks in. And since then, we're ahead of plan, and we just launched the New York tri-state area, New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York. And we have several exciting announcements coming up pretty soon to further our expansion. And lastly, we just partnered, or rather, raised additional 177 million through Axel Springer, which is the 5th largest media company in the world based in Germany. And with them, we can leverage a lot of immediate synergy in the market.
Okay. So think about it. Thanks for coming down. He's flying in here, sitting on our panel. This is practically a $1 billion company, publicly traded company, and making big splashes. What is different about what you're doing? Why are you growing so rapidly?
Yeah, well,
how are you different than the traditional real estate model, for example?
Sure, I want to say first is the people. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's the folks I work with every day that are really, they love the customer, they love what they're doing, they see the opportunity in the marketplace. But it really comes down to great value and great service. It's as simple as that. So what does that mean? What do we do different? We offer a full service offering if you're selling your home in real estate, and we charge a modest flat fee, which allows the consumer to save thousands in real estate commission expense. If you look at the real estate market today in the US, it's highly fragmented. There's over 80,000 brokers, over 2 million realtors. This service offering is not consistent brand to brand. And what we're doing is really streamlining that process and creating efficiencies, transparency, and obviously cost savings through our model.
Interesting. So Anthony, you made big splashes also. You were in front of a large group similar to this one, where you, on a big screen, said, Engel Invokers is still a real estate company. With all this talk about tech and innovation, why did you say that?
Well, first of all, thanks again for inviting me to be here today, and it's a pleasure to sit here on the panel with Eric. I guess I need to go back in time just a little bit. You know, Engel Invokers was started in Germany in 1977. So we've been around for a little while, and we've been selling real estate worldwide for a long time. We've leveraged technology through that process since we've been in business. But we've really always focused on the service aspect of it, very much like Purple Bricks, looking at the spectrum and seeing that a value really wasn't being added. We really decided to double down on the human aspect of that and provide a higher level of service. What's been interesting with a lot of the disruption or the threatened disruption in our industry over the last couple of years with the purple bricks and the red fins and a variety of the others out there, some of the real estate brands that we've known for a long time in the United States have suddenly come out over the last couple of weeks and said, we're no longer a real estate company, we're now a technology company. Which is kind of funny, because if you think about Amazon, you don't walk around thinking Amazon is a technology company. They know exactly what they are. Engel & Volkers knows exactly who we are as well. And we are a real estate company, also focused on providing the highest level of service. We have an amazing team of advisors working around the globe. This year in the United States, we'll sell about 25,000 homes just in the Americas. But we just felt the need to say we know exactly who we are. We're adapting. We leverage technology, but we're not changing at our core who we are. We're competent. We're passionate. We're exclusive, and we sell real estate.
I've heard you say, I think you said we were the first European brand to make a big splash into the U.S. So is that part of how you see yourself as a disruptor? As you see the brand as a disruptor in the industry?
I don't know if it's because very few brands have come from outside of the United States and survived in the United States. We've now been in the United States going on 10 years. We've been worldwide now for about 40 years. But I do believe we have the energy and the enthusiasm of kind of a 40-year-old startup, especially here in the Americas. I've said that quite a bit. But I do believe we're also a disruptor, because in the same way that Purple Bricks has said there's an opportunity here because the real estate community, the brokers and the advisors haven't been able to really earn the commissions they're being charged. We've we've always been about making sure that our value proposition is providing a high level of service, so you do get the value for what you do. Because if you don't, a company like Purple Bricks is going to come in and take away your business. I actually think Purple Bricks is great for our industry, just like I think it's good from our standpoint. There's too many agents in this business who don't do a good job, and the consumers are paying way too much for an overly complicated transaction. And I think we just have different ways of disrupting the marketplace to do what we do.
Awesome. So this crowd is full of real estate professionals, a lot of other things, right? I know that there's
real
investors.
estate?
Yeah, there's investors, developers, people that just like to buy and sell homes. I'm always telling our team that things are really, really changing. A lot of times they don't listen. Some people won't believe, and some people really adapt. So what are those changes coming from two leaders? What are those big changes coming down the road in technology that's affecting our industry, specifically for residential real estate brokerage? You could start, Eric.
Sure, thank you. All right, so the biggest fundamental change in the U.S. market is a change in consumer behavior. And that's, right now we're at an inflection point. We're seeing significant change. They're more technologically efficient, they're value driven, they want great value, and they want great service. And it's not just the real estate sector, it's across all different verticals. We're seeing it in retail, hospitality, transportation. I can point to 10 different examples on stage today. And really what that is for us is an opportunity, because we feel our model is uniquely aligned to really capitalize on consumer trends. Because again, they want great value, and we're saving them thousands, if not tens of thousands, real estate commission. It's over a $70 billion market in the US today. And again, you're getting the full service offering, 3D virtual tours, professional photography, a local real estate professional, 24/7 customer service, and you're paying a flat fee. And I know it's a consistent theme I've said several times in my first two questions, but I can't emphasize that enough, because that really is a differentiator in the marketplace for us.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, it's what you do, right? So you're going to keep on saying that forever.
I'll say it 2 more times.
Fluffy, right?
Yeah, and we see it all the time. When we see agents and some agents are relying a lot on technology, and a lot of agents are just really old school, looking at paper and don't do anything digitally. And some of them are still making a lot of money.
Yeah, and again, our agents can use technology, but at the same time, a consumer has an option. They can work with a local professional from listing to closing. They don't have to use technology. Technology is more of an enabler. What that means on our platform, a consumer can make an offer peer-to-peer directly, which has been well received, or there's low levels inventory. Homebuyers want to make sure their offer is submitted, it's there in a timely manner. They don't want to go through that intermediary, but they still have that realtor working with them throughout the process.
To answer your question about the disruption in the industry, I absolutely believe that disruption is coming to this industry at a faster pace than we've ever seen. And the real estate industry is probably the last major industry to be really disrupted. We were both at a conference a couple of weeks ago here in Miami, and the conversation kind of went around the idea that we're probably about a third of the way through the disruption of the real estate business. But over the next probably 3 to 5 years, we're going to see everything completely turn upside down. And I believe that's ultimately going to be great for the consumer. I think it's going to put a lot of real estate professionals out of business, and I think it's about time. I do believe there's a lot, as you said too, there's a lot of opportunity there for all of us to learn, to provide a higher level of service to the client, and to thrive in the new world of real estate.
So, a company like yours, like Purple Bricks, wouldn't thrive as much as it's been thriving. It wouldn't be worth as much as it's worth if there wasn't this time it's now. Like would this have worked 10 years ago? Is this something happening that the trend is happening now? What's going on that things have changed so much? Because we keep on talking about it. Anthony said, we're one of the last ones to change, right? So, but apparently it's happening.
Yes, so it's to your point, now is its opportune time. So the first part of your question, could this happen 10 years ago? The answer is yes, it could have. But now it's more advantageous because the consumer's been empowered. They have access to a wealth of information. And if you look at our industry today, nearly 100% of consumers are searching online when looking for a home. They're not driving to a brick and mortar office. If anyone here was scheduling travel arrangements to show up today, you probably didn't drive to a travel agent. You probably pulled it up on your mobile device, your tablet, to secure that appointment. So we're seeing the same thing happen in our space today. And for us, Purple Bricks, the reason why we can do that is because when a consumer speaks with us today, they typically know the 3 or 5 homes they want to see. Statistically, they're doing it 6 months in advance of contacting a realtor, and they already did a lot of the work themselves. On average, not our agents, but on average, they usually know more than the realtor. The school rankings, the demographic profile, the average price of the home, the comps in the area, all that information is available to everyone in this room today. So you don't need a realtor per se. A realtor's role is more as a trusted advisor, in our view, going forward.
Did you just move your head a certain way?
A couple of things there. Well, and I think this
He agrees with everything.
Exactly. No, and I do agree with most of what you're saying. I do believe to some extent, though, a brick and mortar location in the region you serve is important. I mean, I do believe the combination, the pairing, if you will, of an online and an offline experience makes even more sense today. We spend so much of our time attached to our digital screens. I think the results are showing that we want more of a personal interaction with real people, real trusted advisors who do understand the data, but also understand the nuance of the community that they're serving. We have our iconic shops in over 800 locations around the world, and they're centerpieces of the neighborhoods that we serve. The people in those shops are not just realtors. These are also advisors in the community that know the community, know everything about what's going on, the real estate trends, but what makes life special in those areas. And that's what a good realtor or a good agent or a good advisor can actually bring to the transaction. And I do believe there's value to some people for that. If you don't need that, if you want more of an online experience and a 24-hour call center, then Purple Bricks is probably the right answer, or companies like that. If you're looking for the other, here we go. But again, I do think there's plenty of room for both models there, because in a lot of cases, the real estate community has not really shown their value in the transaction, and they've charged way too much and done way too little for way too long.
Yeah, I just want to say I actually agree with you, all those statements you said.
We're going to keep agreeing with each other all the way here.
But just one point of clarification. So at Purple Bricks, one thing we do different from an agent perspective, which I haven't talked about, we give them exclusivity. We call them local real estate experts, because they only provide service within a defined territory, so they know that market intimately, they know market comps, they know the best schools, they know the restaurants, so they're fully immersed in that marketplace to provide great service and great value.
That's a great idea. We've been doing that for 40 years. We call it sub-market specialization, but we also believe the idea that someone should absolutely live in an area, own the area, and appreciate the area. So there's more alike than different with the way we do business, other than your flat fee and we're not.
Correct. The second thing we do on the agent side is we provide all their exclusive lead generation opportunities for them. So our agents spend 100% of their time providing great customer service. And to validate that statement, we have over 40,000 5-stars reviews through Trustpilot across all markets that we're in, because we really want them to focus on the consumer. And what we found historically are agents spending a lot of their time looking for their next deal, just in general in the industry. So again, the core principle of Purple Bricks is about the consumer.
The lead gen is a huge deal. We talk about we talk with our agents all the time, and lead generation is fantastic. And I know you guys do a good job. But so you've got the fastest growing franchise in North America for the last 3 years. You're growing this $1 billion business and raising capital. Big news. Are you competitors? Is there a potential collaboration? Let's start with the competition side. Something's got to give, right?
You want me to? No. Yeah, sure. I'll follow that trend. No, we're not competitors, but let's be honest. Again, I said this statement earlier. It's highly fragmented. There's over 80,000 brokerages. The top 5 brokers in the U.S. have less than 14% market share. The top 10 have less than 17% market share based on what stat you want to believe that's being reported. So it is highly fragmented. 90% of all listings that sell statistically typically do not sell with the listing agent. They sell with a third party through the multiple listing service. Again, that's in industry averages. Some are doing better than others. So to short answer your question is, absolutely we'll work with them through cooperating fees to the MLS. We want to build that good partnership in the industry because we're working together to improve it.
And I'll just say everything you say. This is an industry where, again, the top players don't have more than about 10% of the industry. That leaves 90% out there for everyone else. And I think either one of us would be happy if we had a 10% market share. But no, there's a lot of opportunity. We will cooperate. That is this industry. It has been our industry for a long time. And I do think there's room for both of us and our models to exist, and several other models for that matter.
So we are at Emerge America. So what is your view, or what are your thoughts, and I'll start with Anthony this time, on the digital experience for the consumer? Where is that going? We've got virtual reality in our booth. We've got people online searching for homes all the time. There's a lot of tools. There's apps. Where is that experience going for the consumer in digital?
Well, one of the things that's extremely important, and it seems obvious probably to most people listening to me, but it hasn't always been obvious in our industry, and this is what you were just saying, and I'll echo that, is we have to start with the client experience. And for so long, it's been more about the agent experience or the broker experience, or getting that next check or chasing that next deal. So focusing on the consumer experience is probably something that we should have always been doing, but I think as an industry, we're starting to do more and more, and if we're not, we're going to be gone. I think if you're not looking at the technology space, if you're not building a better digital experience for your clients, your days are numbered in this industry. That's just all there is to it. Those days of you were talking a minute ago about everybody doing with paper and pencil and making a lot of money. If they're providing a good level of service, they can probably retire and continue doing that. If you're not providing a high level of service, if you're still doing it old school, my guess is, again, your days are numbered. I think the digital experience is going to only improve. I know at Engel & Volkers, we're spending a lot on our technology platform around the world to make it a better platform for the consumer, and then from there up through the agent and the brokerage.
You want to jump in there?
Next.
Yeah.
All right. So again, I'll echo some of the same sentiment there, but it is a hybrid approach. There's still a human element to the transaction. We believe an agent will always be center of a real estate transaction. We view the digital experience will only get better. So if you look at a real estate transaction today, there's several different parts: a buyer, seller, mortgage, title, appraiser, inspector, attorney, or escrow, depending what state you're in, depending on how the closing process is. So we believe that could be more seamless as we move out over time. And look at the VC investment today in the real estate space, it's mostly been through home discovery. So we do a great job in our industry searching for properties, getting information, but we haven't done a great job in making that process more seamless throughout the entire transaction process. So our view is we'll see improvements over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, if not sooner.
And this is where I think Purple Bricks, Engel & Volkers, and others can work together, because the fact is the transaction is way too complicated. And the more we do to make that more seamless, all those aspects, the better it's going to be for the consumer and for us as well.
Let's talk a little bit, this is off script, but to talk a little bit about time frame. Because you hear a lot that the industry, we say it all the time, the last bunch of years has been about search, right? But you still can't click and buy a house, right? So they're talking about click and buy, click to purchase going forward to make it that seamless. What's the time frame here? Are we talking a couple years, or it still needs 5, 6? I mean, where are we in that? Because other industries develop really rapidly. I mean, how fast is this going to go in your crystal ball?
All right, my crystal ball, so you can discount that. I think it's going to happen immediately within the next 2 years. You're seeing elements of that happening already, whether it's an iBuyer program where organizations are raising large sums of money, buying properties at a discount to fair market value, then flipping them through a quote-unquote digital experience. But they own that asset. They're vertically integrated, so they can they can control the terms of the deal to make sure that it moves to the funnel pretty quick. So again, you're seeing elements of it being done already. You can submit offers online at Purple Bricks, but we're going to continue to improve on that and iterate and get market feedback and make the process better. So short answer is within 24 months.
Well, that's a quick turnaround, right? I mean, that's
not the broader end. I'm just saying you're going to see folks in the industry start doing that.
I don't disagree.
I think the industry will follow.
Anthony?
It's like we agree on almost everything. The only thing I'll say is I think it'll happen more in the, for lack of a better choice, where the commodity homes. I think you'll see more of a click to buy, more of a technology-driven experience in that range. We work a lot in the premium market, and I don't see the click to buy in the premium market happening nearly as quickly. I think again, simplification of the process, condensing time in the process. We'll see a lot of that in the very immediate near future. But long term, I think it's going to take a lot longer for the high-end properties to go through that phase.
Okay, so perfect segue here. Engel & Volkers is known as a premium global brand.
Luxury brand, yes.
It's a luxury brand. And so there's a lot of talk about a difference in how digital, the experience for the agent and the consumer is for luxury properties and for non-luxury properties. Can you speak to how technology is going to affect the luxury landscape less, or will it take longer than non-luxury?
I don't know if it's less or more. I think it's just different. I think someone dealing at a certain price point is maybe more discerning, has a higher level of expectations, is looking for a higher level of service, maybe more hand-holding, if you will, a more bespoke experience. And I think a company, a brand like Engel & Volkers is more focused on doing that. But at the same point, every consumer at every price point is looking for a good experience, a positive experience, an efficient experience. And I don't really see a huge difference between that. Just maybe exactly what is happening in those processes maybe slightly different.
Eric, what do you think about that discrepancy, or any discrepancy, and how digital and technology is going to affect luxury versus non-luxury, and however you define that?
Sure. So right now, as we begin our evolution here in the U.S., our journey, our average list price is above market averages in each market that we're in. But we're seeing more gravitation out of the gates, because the first thing folks say is, what is the catch? Is there additional fees? How are you guys, what's the difference between you and a traditional real estate firm? So once we get over those common objections, and they see there's great value for great service. For example, we have listings in Beverly Hills, LA, Laguna Beach in California. We're putting on a penthouse in Manhattan. I mean, we're attracting the folks, because at the end of the day, our model resonates with all consumers, because you're retaining your equity. You're not paying that traditional 5, 6, 7% commission fee.
You mentioned a very fragmented marketplace. So you just announced a large capital raise round. You parachuted into New York. You've got these other markets you're opening. What's next, and what are the next big steps, and you can share with us for Purple Bricks in the U.S.?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so the biggest thing for us is to really drive market penetration. So we could have launched on day one and been in 10 states, 15 states, hundreds of agents, but we decided to pick one or two to really refine the model and make sure that we're optimizing the core platform that we have today. So for us, it's really about the velocity in which we can scale. And what I mean by that is now is an opportune time to launch, given that everything we spoke about today, the change in consumer behavior, the competitive landscape, the folks that are available today that we can leverage in each of the markets we're in as core operators. So our view of the world is that we launched in California, we launched in the tri-state area, and if you just step back and take a macro view of the U.S., California is the largest market. There's over 400,000 transactions. New York tri-state is the largest designated market area, meaning the tri-state area. So we purposely picked two of the largest markets, which we knew would also probably be two of the hardest markets. But early indicators are favorable. We're excited about the path forward. And now we're going to continue to scale in several other states, and we'll probably make several announcements in the next 30 days.
Yeah, so you're in full-on ramp-up mode?
We are, and we have a lean structure, too. So we don't have brick and mortar in each market that we're in. And I realize there's some attributes to that, but for us, we don't. So we can pass that cost savings on to the consumer and use that capital to build a business.
All right. Anthony, you've got big plans of your own. Tremendous growth the last few years. Where's Engel & Volkers headed the next few?
We've been growing slowly and steadily worldwide, again, for 40 years. This year, we'll open about 20 new locations throughout the Americas, serving markets we have this saying, we are where our clients are in the world's best locations. And we've been in Miami now for, about 10 years. And we'll be opening additional locations again throughout the Americas. But we will continue to evolve our technology platform, our training for our advisors to make sure that they are the best in the marketplace, so we can continue to provide a high level of service and even try to raise that bar a little bit higher as the consumer is demanding it.
Excellent. So when you came in recently, how long ago did you come in to the States?
We launched on exactly September 15th.
Wow, so it's recent.
Yeah, 7 months of operations.
Tell us, if you can, tell us some challenges or things you weren't expecting, maybe on the upside also, of entering and penetrating a market like this. You've got this capital, you're coming into the market. You're opening up new markets, spreading the brand. How has that been?
Well, it's been exciting. I mean, I love to start up. We love building companies. We started, it was literally a blank canvas. Yes, we had capital, and capital today is plentiful, but it's about having the right execution, the right people, and a model that's quote unquote solving a problem that will adopt to the consumer for us. So for us, it was more of an opportunity. So if you look at the United Kingdom, you really can't monetize a buy-side relationship. There's not an MLS system. So we viewed that as a challenge, but quite frankly, I viewed it as an opportunity because we could earn more and drive top-line revenue through the lean operating model that we have. So for us, it's been exciting. We also engaged with consumer focus groups. So we had a hypothesis in the beginning. This is what we believed. But then we went out to the market and validated that before launch. And then we actually launched, so now we have some data to point to 7 months later, which shows the market loves our product. They love our brand, and I'm sure there's things we can do better, but we'll continue to push forward.
Must be exciting educating a consumer on a different way of doing things, right?
It is. And again, we have a lot of common objections because the market for so long, they really haven't had a viable alternative that was a full service offering. So we had to get over some myths in the marketplace that were created by certain folks in the industry, but we were able to get over those hurdles, and we actually launched something called the Home Truths campaign to answer a lot of those common objections for the consumer. So before they even engage with Purple Bricks, they know more about our proposition, what the agents are offering, what's the value that they're going to receive, and that's really helped us, scale.
So Anthony, viable alternatives, I think is what he said.
In 2 words.
Yeah. So how do you see talking to that consumer and telling them that model, the Engel & Volkers model, is different than that online brokerage model?
I think we're speaking to. I really do believe we're speaking to different consumers. I don't know for the most part that the people who have been dealing with our advisors over the years, who have those long-term relationships, that have seen the value, are the ones that are going to be going online to Purple Bricks or making that phone call. On the other hand, I don't believe that a lot of the people who are looking for the services that Purple Bricks are providing are going to be looking to do business with us. I think there's definitely a place we can do. We coexist in the marketplace.
Yeah. So, regarding, does that mean that Engel & Volkers invests even more in technology going forward?
We've always been a technology brand. We've always utilized technology. It's always been one of our pillars. So we will continue to do what we've always done. The nice thing is technology is changing. Technology is moving at a much faster pace, and it gives us a lot of opportunities that weren't available to us 5 years, 10 years in the past. The consumer, as Eric was saying, has also changed a lot over the last few years, and that gives us new opportunities. And we'll continue to leverage everything that has to provide. But we're still very much about our people. Our advisors around the world, I do believe, are the best of the best of the best. And that gives us a unique value proposition to the clients who do want an advisor involved that lives right there in the marketplace all the time, that can negotiate the best prices when it comes to buying or selling a property. And we'll continue kind of doubling down on those ideas and those ideals.
Sure. And there's a lot of trends in other, like retail, for example. Their use of real estate's changed immensely. Your shop concept and the use of real estate, do you see that changing? I know it's a big part of the brand, and it seemed very successful for you. Do you see that space use changing?
I think the real estate office or brokerage space of the past is going away very quickly. The big box shops, if you will, with a couple hundred advisors in them, that's not the future for real estate in the Americas. But I do believe our iconic shops in the neighborhoods that we serve are something that will continue to be a centerpiece of what we do. I'm asked this question quite frequently, but they are a hub, if you will. It's an opportunity to learn more about your community, to know more about the business. It gives us an opportunity to promote properties. And again, I do believe that online and that offline experience with our advisors makes a lot of sense. And so we'll continue doing what we've done there. I do believe the way the shop is used and utilized will probably evolve a lot in the very near future.
Are we good? I've been told that I'm out of time. I can't tell. I don't have a time thing.
You got 1 minute and 12 seconds.
Do I? Where is it? Oh, there it is. All right, good. So, potential collaborations. Let's talk about that, because that was one of the last questions on that thing. Potential collaborations, besides selling off the MLS, that kind of thing. How do two brands like you, these two rock stars building their own, systems, how do you collaborate and work closely together? Because our operation in Miami, for example, we don't work a lot with online brokerages. But I certainly can see, and I don't want to define you as an online broker, but but that I don't
full
see
service.
Yeah, full service. So, How do you see that collaboration working, and what should a brand like Anthony's see going forward working with agents from your firm? How does that work together?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I can answer that on the stage here, but I think it's a pretty broad question. So I think there's a lot of things we can do. I think from an organization, though, it's really about not one specific or two specific things. It's about collaborating and just improving the industry in general. For example, the criteria, right now it's low barriers to entry just for agents to enter our industry. So I think things we can do to make some of the requirements better or higher. As a result of that, we'll have better quality service across the board. I think every broker needs to take accountability in making sure they're providing great service. There's a lot of folks, so it's estimated 30 to 40% of agents in the US do not have one sale in a given year. So it's just improving the industry in general. But then we can segue into tech, and that's a whole other discussion. But just my initial general statement based on that question.
Last comment, Anthony, on...
I know we're out of time, but I think the fact of the matter is it is that collaboration. We will continue to watch each other, and I think there's things for us to learn probably from each other that'll make both of our businesses better. And who knows what the future will tell from that standpoint. But this would be a pretty interesting friendship. So looking forward to continue to working with you.
You guys
in the
are rock
industry.
stars. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Irving.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.